Hello, and welcome to another developer stream here at World of Tanks Modern Armor. I am Tankz0rz, and we're here with Mr. Bam. How you doing, Mr. Bam?
Hello, wonderful. Can I make a quick shout out? I just want to say I appreciate you keep up with this week over week, every stream. Petty, I love the little dancing dinosaur emoji. It does put a smile right before we go live. And then you kind of got the train of people going. So I see Sunshine Girl also posting the same. I just wanted to shout out. I appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah, here goes all the dancing dinosaurs.
Listen, it's the little things in life.
Right.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm a big dino fan, so I've always been pushing of trying to think of like what's a dinosaur related like tank theme we can always get into. Never did get that traction going well, but one of these days.
Listen, we definitely have a little. I noticed a little dinosaur on one of our garage cosmetics. It was on the table. I think it was for like Thanksgiving or something. I don't remember.
Oh yeah, you are right. Yeah, one of the garage gear items.
Yeah.
I did have that.
Yep. Well, Mr. Bam, we're here again for our another week. You know how it goes. How's the weather out there?
I haven't had a chance to step outside, but I heard it is hot and maybe a little bit humid because we did get some heavy rainfall yesterday.
I'm assuming you have your central air conditioner probably turned on because
I can hear it pumping.
Yeah,
thankfully my windows are sealed.
It's warm out there. It says it's only 72 Fahrenheit. You know,
I see 88 by me.
22 Celsius. Yeah, no, it's definitely hotter than that. My computer is lying to me, but I know I have my AC pumping as well. Otherwise,
I'm also a fan of the heat, so like I'm looking forward to just stepping outside, maybe doing yard work a little bit later. So I'm okay with a little bit of the heat.
I would definitely melt and soul my computers, but Mr. Bam, we're here to talk about things that are related to tanks. So why don't we go ahead and kick it off in that direction here?
Absolutely. That's what we love to talk about here. This is probably going to be a little bit of a light stream this week, so heads up. But I'm going to try to make an effort, engage with you guys into the chat, because I know oftentimes our streams are content's bloated, and we get through a lot and hope to squeeze some time for Q&As. We will have some Q&As at the end of the stream as well. But good to see you guys that are regulars as well. Sinster, Petty, you guys, Reload to Unload, Bloody War Llama, Mr. SPG, of course. Thank you guys for always sticking around. It's nice to see our familiar faces here. So, yeah, on the tank side of things, hopefully you guys really enjoyed the D-Day event mode, which had come to a close this past Tuesday, of course. We have been monitoring and digging up a lot of data, community feedback, of course, as well. KB, if you guys missed it, at least on the Discord channels, held a whole contest for giveaway of like premium time, I think some cosmetics. I'm actually a little bit loose on the rewards that we tacked onto the contest itself. But if you guys recall, for the D-Day event mode, KB held a contest of who can deal the most tank destruction in a single match, as well as the team that can complete the D-Day mode the fastest.
That was definitely one of my favorite parts right there.
Yeah, and we thought about this like prior to going live with the D-Day event mode. We held some internal playtests like speed runs, like, okay, design team, get out there. Let's see if we can set a bar for our players to beat, etc. And we'd set it, I would say, a modest, like 6 minutes 50, I think we hit about. Then our super testers beat us. Then Tankz0rz, you and Winged Racer and KB, and I think Petty as well.
Oh, yeah.
When the event went live, you guys beat us. Last week, we, I don't remember the team name, I do apologize, but we did showcase a team that worked together and had an awesome speed record, if I recall, about 4 minutes and 51 seconds, right? Well, that has since been beat. Pretty wild.
It was 3 minutes and 51 seconds, which was the old record.
Oh, 3 minutes 51. That was the old record.
Yeah. I thought that was super. I mean, it still is super impressive. But there was definitely a faster time. What was it, Mr. Bam?
Yeah, the world record for the D-Day completion mode was 2 minutes and 51 seconds. Wild! And shout out to these users, Super Delico 8, It's Dip, Dodger Blue, E90 M3 Bob, Oh Felipe, Reach, Soul of Caliber 5, and collectively they drove around in 4 rover tanks, 2 Calliopes, and a single Ripper. Cyber 10K, how do they do that? I don't know, to be honest. I mean that honestly in terms of I didn't get a chance to see the replay. Seeing some other users in their replays and streams, just very quickly getting into positions early and ahead of time while constantly firing on the move. And right when one base is captured, someone else is already on the next base objective. Make sure that one is also going to be done in time. I would imagine even before stage 2 of capping all 3 of the cliff bases, there's already a couple individuals sitting on the HQ, I imagine. So impressive stuff. It certainly has blown design's expectations of how one could speedrun that mode.
Listen, you could always leave it to the players to figure out new and inventive ways to, do things better than we could as well.
Yeah. And on that note, again, we're looking at a lot of feedback from players, and we agree with a lot of these great ideas, like a leaderboard system. Wouldn't it be great for any sort of event mode, even things that we can run in multiplayer to have a way for players to see, what's the best clan in the game right now? Who's dealing the most damage? It would have been something awesome to have tied to event modes like the D-Day, where players can see this guy has the most kills in the match, or this team has the fastest record. That's not a promise, of course. This is something, a design wish list that we'd also like to have included into the game one day. But speaking of the other part of the contest that we had going on, highest amount of tank kills in D-Day mode. Also a very wild number here. This was achieved by LSWV. That is the player's gamer tag.
Before we jump straight into that number.
Oh, sure.
What was the highest kill count that you ended up seeing personally?
Myself, I was probably 24, 25, if I recall.
Okay, so we're on the same ballpark. That's what I saw too. Now, continue.
Okay. That's a quarter of which this individual did. Again, LSWV, congrats to you. 104 tanks destroyed by a single individual. This is not collectively by the team. A single individual in the game mode, 104 tank kills. This was achieved in the M4, the tier 6 heavy. Worth mentioning, this was in fact on a defeated battle. There was no rules about making sure you got enough kills in a winning battle, of course. So this was something where this player knew how to really maximize the kills and maybe found a really good spot to capture those German enemy tanks and really collect that number up there, right? To which on that same note, though, I did talk with KB. I'm like, okay, well, that's the best amount of kills on a losing battle. I'd be curious to know how many got it on a winning battle. And apparently that reward still goes to the same user, LSWV, 54 kills in a winning battle in D-Day mode. Still hella impressive. And yes, that was the M4 heavy, for those asking. I'm sorry, did I say, M6 heavy? What did I write down? I did, in fact, write the M4. I did mean M6 heavy, the tier 6.
Awesome.
I have another follow-up on that.
I apologize for my little disappearing act here. I think my camera overheated. Speaking of the weather, but, I'm telling you, my electronics don't like the heat. But we're back.
Oh, great. Rogue Soul, M4 heavy confirmed. I let one thing slip and
well.
The chat carries it away. Yeah. Anyway, so awesome job, you guys. Certainly, we'll continue thinking more on event battles. more and fun ways that you guys as a community can engage into it, whether it's like with leaderboards. I know people are asking, oh, when are you going to bring in like the Battle of the Bulge or Kursk, maybe more Cold War-esque event battles, etc. Certainly on our minds, certainly. It's just a matter of time and when we can deliver that into the future, right? One last thing to make mention of other impressive data points. I know last week we covered a lot of in-progress data of how you guys have been doing in the D-Day mode itself. So we kind of gave just a wrap-up on the contest winners. But also we had the Taking Normandy challenge op, which awarded you guys many cosmetics, Creighton Abrams, the 2D commander, and of course the end reward, the Thunderbolt, M4 Thunderbolt, with its D-Day skin and a unique D-Day medal as well. Of everybody participating, we had 20,000 users, individual users, complete the full Taking Normandy challenge for the full single week that we had the event running. So yeah, hopefully that was a lot of fun. And again, look forward to more fun and engaging event battles into the future.
Awesome. Yeah, overall, it seems like people definitely enjoyed the D-Day event. So I definitely did enjoy the competitive nature that we had here on these speed runs. I thought that was really fun myself.
Yeah, I wonder what else we can do next time to really. What's the next contest and challenge that we can add to it? Who can traverse the most ground in the mode itself, right?
You remember back in the day we had little stats of how many trees have been knocked over?
There is like on the back end data, like that is something tracked. But no, someone's going to call it out in chat, and I know it. There's not going to be an achievement. There's not going to be a medal tied to it. We don't want to disincentivize people straying away from the core gameplay to knock over some trees.
They want weird objectives to bring people away from the actual gameplay. But that's funny stuff though.
Let's see. Speaking of, so that's all the D-Day side of things. We have other upcoming events and challenges, of course. Father's Day right around the corner this Sunday. We have WoT is going to be on sale. Our lovely, cuddly bear commander. He will be available into the stores. And plus, starting today, there will be a ×3 daily XP bonus for every tank that you play into the battles. Then also we have Flag Day coming. We have various flag tanks on sale to go along with the Father's Day. The Fatherland tank is coming to into bundles on sale, and then we also have the Hammer, Senshi Star 2, and the Ziska. Let's see. Also this week, Tank Mastery. Pick your class and get the aces and master your tanks. And you can earn various consumables, boosters, premium, and class mastery emblems all along the way. And that is everything that came out this week. So, Tankz0rz, I believe that takes us on over to our next week content.
Is going on next week, Mr. Bam? Do we have anything new and exciting to talk about? Or
always, there might even be a new tank. Stay tuned. Let's start with some weekly sales. 30% off. We got some wallet savers. So these tanks will be available in bundles for 30% off, including the T-78 Kanonen Jagdpanzer, the T-72 M1, and the M50 Antos. In addition, some super savers this week that are seeing a little bit of a change. We have the Clouds on the Horizon bundle, which includes a skin for the T-34, which can be unlocked for 10,000 XP, and that's at a 50% discount. Then we have a skin for the Tiger 2 that can be unlocked at 25,000 XP. And then also a skin, sorry, the formatting, the Kampfpanzer 07RH also has a skin that can be unlocked for 50,000 XP, also at a 50% discount. And then our weekly deal, we'll have a bundle for 20 ×4 Commander XP boosters. Comfy Panzer.
The comfy
The Comp
Panzer.
Panzer. Other skin and commander sales, we have the ambush tank skin for the M50 Antos and the burnt steel skin for the T72 M1. All right, Tankz0rz.
I think that brings us to what we were just talking about.
One might say a world premiere.
World premiere, huh? Well, you know what they say, right? Roll the tapes.
Roll the tapes.
And there we have it.
Nemesis MBT, coming to a World of Tanks Modern Armor near you. Yes, so the Tier 10 British Heavy. The history behind this, because TankFest is right around the corner, and the model itself of the Nemesis MBT is, in fact, at the Tank Museum. Be sure to stay tuned. We will have more things to bring up into attention and details of TankFest next week. But anyway, Nemesis MBT, in the 1960s, British engineers were developing a mobile tank in collaboration with the German and American companies. Some foreign components that were used, a power unit, suspension, and other various elements. At the same time, some concepts and elements of the Chieftain were also adopted. It was supposed to be armed with a 110 millimeter gun, as well as a 25 millimeter automatic twin gun. The vehicle was designated the Nemesis. Compared to the heavier Chieftain, the vehicle was supposed to be much faster and bear some similarities to other German projects of late 60s and early 70s. The Nemesis project existed only in blueprints and in one scale model. So, equipped with a unique 110 millimeter gun, it pumps out a solid 420 damage, a shot hitting harder than most UK heavy tanks themselves. With a high top speed and great acceleration for a heavy, giving it medium-like mobility to be much more flexible onto the battlefield. Protection is provided by well-sloped armor on both of its hull as well as its turret. Make use of its gun depression to maximize the sloping and ricochet well of any incoming rounds. Nemesis MBT, there you have it, folks.
Mr. Bam, why don't we give some of these new tanks away here?
I say we do the same. You couldn't be more right here. How about 2 giveaways? 2 lucky winners to receive the Nemesis Tier 10 MBT British Heavy.
Go ahead and click on that link in chat if you'd like to win this brand new Nemesis tank, and you'll be eligible for our giveaway. Make sure you enter your Wargaming ID, that is -X or -P, depending on which console you play on.
Rogue Soul, but will there be a kettle inside? KB, it's British, but of course.
Yeah, well, what would a kettle be used for in a tank like that? Maybe some tea, some coffee, perhaps.
Some tea consumables, rations, and such.
Staninsky is asking, what tier is the tank?
Tier 10. This is a top-of-the-line World War II British heavy.
Oh, I see. Maybe using it for ramen.
Hey, to each their own.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of just British tanks, we have more along the way. A new on-track. British mediums. Anyone seen a theme here? So as per usual with on-tracks, you can expect 25% extra XP on every battle for the tanks listed. That includes, of course, the British mediums, the Cruiser 4, the Covenanter, Crusader, and Cromwell. Those will also be 50% off for purchase in the tech tree. And then for the remainder and in the tech tree, for 30% off, you can purchase the Comet, Centurion 1, Centurion 7-1, and Centurion Action X, and the FV4202. And again, all those tanks will earn 25% extra XP.
Who doesn't love 25% extra XP or any amount of extra XP?
For sure. Let's see. Colonel Dingus, Cold War on-tracks coming back. What about a premium bonus? We'll talk with our live ops and events team to think on that a little bit. On-tracks, of course, have been kind of missing from action for a little bit of a while, of course. I don't know if it was just the start of this season or maybe last season. We did start bringing back our on-tracks, of course, and so we are rolling these out, usually to bring them thematically with any sort of tank releases or events that we have going on. So Cold War on-tracks, certainly something we'll pass along. Let's see. And then lastly, coming next week, again, I mentioned this will be a bit of a shorter stream, a little bit lighter. But of course, it was at least a new tank announced. Commander War Chest refresh. This refresh includes many military-inspired commanders from past chests and events, plus 10 brand new commanders inspired by renowned figures from the development of armored warfare. They include Jack Campbell, Hugh Ellis, John Capper, Ernest Swinton, Leroy Eltinge, Samuel Rockenbach, Bruce Magruder, Donald Marshall Caw, and various more.
Yep. And then we also have our Tank Fest event happening. And that is running through June 28th through 30th.
Yes, so George, we are just a couple weeks out. Like I said earlier, more details on Tank Fest. Stay tuned for next week's stream. We will certainly go over much more of the juicy hints and stuff that you guys can look forward to at Tank Fest itself. I will be going there myself. Tankz0rz, you are going to be joining us. Very excited to have you on board this year.
Yep.
A lot of other WG folks will also be present, including our partners with World of Tanks Blitz and World of Tanks PC. Sure to be an exciting event as always.
Fantastic.
Shout out. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, it's definitely going to be a very fantastic time. And if anyone's in the area, it'd be even more fantastic to see your lovely faces there as well. And if you can't make it, it's okay, because we'll definitely be, streaming some of the events as well. So.
Absolutely. Shout out to the chat. Anybody going to Tank Fest? I think, Petty, you're joining us this year. Well, you were there last year, too. I think you're coming back. Anyone else coming to Tank Fest this year? Yeah, there he is.
And then aside from the actual Tank Fest itself, there's also a player party. And this player party, you don't actually need to have a Tank Fest ticket to get into. It's a World of Tanks sponsored event, though. And you get more info on that at the portal as well.
The Koala clan is going. Who is the Koala clan?
Well, I guess we're going to find out, Mr. Man.
Mark of Mayhem. Please, I'd love to meet you guys. My wife is near and dear. She loves koalas. So, be interested to meet you guys.
Mr. SPG says that we should hold Tank Fest in Chicago. It'd be much easier to get to. Well, Mr. SPG, maybe we could resurrect one of our old events that we used to have, right? We used to go to Cantini Tank Museum here, which is like outside, an hour or two outside of Chicago. And it was definitely nice seeing players show up there as well. So
I still think about that as well. We like it's a great, you know, at least for us here in the States, centralized in the Midwest. Um, Certainly something I hope we do bring back. Nothing teeny about Cantini. Thank you, and Gita. Well, awesome. All right, Tankz0rz. I think this takes us over to the stream Q&As. Before we do so, do we want to do one last posting, sharing the link for our active giveaway going?
absolutely, you got it.
We have a giveaway for 2 Nemesis NBTs, the brand new British heavy tank, Tier 10, releasing on Tuesday. We'll announce our winners after our Q&A segment. We need a panda clan. It wasn't Petty. You were the one that set up all the light up panda garage gear in your garage, if I recall. We do need a panda clan. You're right.
That would definitely be nice. Alrighty, are we ready for our Q&A section here?
Let's kick it on off.
Alrighty then. Our first question here is, what are the triggers that make the latest World War II tanks balance update? I'm especially interested with the reasoning behind buffing the machine and the ruthless balancing as well.
So various things that we take a look at, right? And shout out to our tank design team, Plague, lead vehicle designer, to help answer this one as well. I'll also provide some context too. We look at win rates. That is one thing in Tableau. That's our dashboard for a lot of the stat tracking. Typically, if a tank is below 49%, that makes it eligible for a buff. If a tank has a win rate above 52%, though it could also be above 51, this might be eligible for considering a nerf to those tanks, etc. But at the time, I know you, the user who submitted the question, asking about the Minotauro. The Minotauro is in fact sitting at a 52.68% win rate. The machine, by contrast, is a 48.8% win rate. And then the Ruthless, which was also requested here, is also at a 48.5% win rate. So certainly, Tank Design will be looking into these a little bit further. In the meantime, there is a very large, hefty World War II tank balance ticket that the tank designers have been working on for months. As you guys might recall, in this the release of the Patriot season, several nations, about 90 tanks, if I recall, got a whole pass of World War II balance tuning. And I mean, they are certainly not done. They are still marching away to work on the rest of the nations and more tanks. So more will be coming in upcoming season releases later. One other thing I want to make mention of, while I was on the point about stats, damage stats and the win rates, etc. That's a single point of margin in which we take a look at to understand if the tank is eligible for any sort of buffs or nerfs. That's just sometimes the very quick and easy telling that we need to start looking into things. But on the other side of the story is, of course, sentiment from the players, feedback from the players, and the actual experience of playing in these tanks themselves. Stats don't always tell the full picture, and getting our hands on playing these tanks and playing with and against players in these tanks is certainly a point of which we often have to discuss and align on how do we want to change things to keep things fun and fair. So more on that soon.
We have another somewhat similar question here is, as it happens so seldomly, I'd like to know what would trigger the decision to add a nerf to a tank.
I guess we kind of covered this a little bit. Essentially, it's a tank when it's performing well beyond similar tanks of its same class and tier. We try to get them when we do a balance pass, holistically of a lot of tanks together. But due to the large number of big releases that we have, we don't always have the time to apply a balance pass on everything. This is part of the reason the last balance update was so large. And like I said before, it's just not over yet. There are still a number of tanks that are getting worked on that just didn't make it into this release. So again, expect more balance changes in the next coming releases.
Next question here is Liberty Falls is a new map, so it's clear that it's preferred in the matchmaker over other maps. The issue is that it's highly over preference since the beginning of what makes gameplay frustrating while playing high tiers, as this map does not fit tier 7 games. Could you take a closer look at why this map is over preferred?
So we apply the same value as we've done with every new and returning map that we brought into any given season. It's not being set up on any higher frequency by any means. It might be a perception thing. It might have, RNG a little bit running into that map as an individual. You might be hitting it a little bit more. It is, in fact, like you had pointed out, it's a new map, so we did increase the frequency, but not much more, not more than ones that we had really released in the past. That being said, we only do that for the first 2 weeks. I think sometimes we even put it to a poll with the players, and then we might pull a map earlier or something, or let it go on an extra week. That map has since been reduced back down to normal frequency. And in addition, I'm pretty sure as of this past Tuesday, we just pulled the map from high tiers in World War II, preventing it from tier 10 and tier 9, I do believe.
Awesome. Next question here is, are there plans to preserve your finished hangars so that at any moment you could return something that you've already done in the past? For example, maybe like a New Year's hangar or, a holiday hangar, and not, spend your time reinstalling all the assets again in your garage. Is there any plans to introduce a system like this?
Well, shout out WG and Gita here in the chat, who is our lead systems designer and helming much of the efforts on all things custom garage, as well as the garage gear. We are actively working on exciting and new improvements for garage customization. While we can't announce anything as of right this moment, there's certainly a lot of conversations about how we can make customization management more convenient for the players. So thank you very much for the suggestion. Also, Angita wanted to also share a little smiley emoji. He insisted that I make mention of that.
Awesome. Just really quick here, we have a giveaway still running for our brand new Nemesis tank. So if you'd like to enter, please go ahead and do so now, and give us your Wargaming ID.
I wanted to address, because a map question. Plum73, any leaks about the next map? I know this has come up a few times that we don't talk about this as much in our streams anymore, usually because I forget to bring it up, but I used to give you guys hints for the next coming maps. The next map will be a returning one, but with new bells and whistles, and it's a very old and familiar one that you guys will certainly remember. No, KB, no hints. Okay, zip.
Stop. Oops. Next question here is, will we ever see a real physical suspension system, or is that a little bit too taxing for the console experience here? Specifically seeing the springs or torsion bars and all that stuff move in conjunction with each other.
I mean, we're talking about physics here. Very much a complex system and very technically driven. It's going to be some time before we have anything more accurate or improved on that front. It mainly has to do with the animations, as well as the quality of the models to support said movement, right? A lot of our art team budget, which, it's everything that gets rendered on the screen, goes toward the tanks which have highly detailed textures. Then there's also the environment work, as well as the VFX, the gun shooting, explosions, and so forth. Essentially, we'd have to build a new system to create and optimize to support the suspensions in certain ways that takes up a lot of the art time to perform the way that's desirable or requested here, right? So no movement, there is no plans or anything right now at this time that we're talking about on it, but it is certainly well out of scope.
Alrighty then. Next question here is, will we see tanks reforged for Cold War in the next season? Many tanks in Cold War have been needing a little bit of love.
Every tank needs some love, guys, right?
Needs some love.
But balancing, absolutely. There are, in fact, yes, Cold War tank rebalance plans in the future. It's not going to be making it into the next season. As I mentioned prior, the tank design team is still working away on more World War II tank balancing, and Cold War to shortly follow.
Next question here is, would it be possible to have a MBT in Era 2? Cold War is missing some type of auto reloaders, and AMBT mockup has some type of ATGM tube on top of its turret.
Okay. I also shared this one directly with Plague, lead vehicle designer. So this is what he had to say on that one. It's possible. There are currently no plans to bring it to Cold War, but it would certainly be interesting to bring in an autoloader into Era 2. But the bigger issue is not many players want a fast, lightly armored tank like that. It was designed to have more high mobility, to get behind enemy defenses quickly, but its protection level could not interfere with its high mobility. So armor is going to be on the lighter side.
Awesome. I think that wraps up our question segment here for today. Are you ready to pull some winners, Mr. Bam?
Let's pull some winners. Nemesis NBT.
Alrighty then. Go ahead and get some lucky winners here in chat. All right, Mr. Bam, I will be sending you one of our lucky winners here.
Okay.
All right. So go ahead and take it away, Mr. Bam. Who is our first lucky winner?
Okay, our first winner for the Nemesis NBT, a headless guy. That's the gamer tag, not a literal headless guy. But congratulations to you.
Congratulations, a headless guy. And our second winner here is Bombar. Congratulations, Bombar. I will enter your names in chats just in case we're mispronouncing them, but GG's, everyone.
GG's. I saw a question go by I wanted to also address a little bit. Blunt Creed, bring all maps to Cold War. That's a big no. That's a big no. I do understand like wanting more maps into rotation to help vary what maps you kind of encounter, etc. But there are certainly most maps just are not applicable to the faster paced gameplay, the true vision mechanics, of course, that we want to put more larger maps into Cold War rather than bringing more World War II maps. We do a lot of our own internal testing and then get also super test weigh in if we find that some maps might be applicable to Cold War. Liberty Falls was an example, right? We released that one this season. It still does exist, to my knowledge, in Era 1. We're still kind of testing the waters on that one, but that it is still on the smaller side and may get the pull just because we know it's not going to play too well in the long run of things. Again, that's something we keep an eye on data, player sentiments, to see what you guys think and feel on it.
Right.
But certainly, we're not putting every single map into Cold War. A caveat to that, though, we have done this through an event battle. I think we have run Himmelsdorf into a Cold War, a 7v7 event battle into the past. That is certainly on the table. But do not expect maps like that and all those maps to even go right into Cold War, just in normal rotation.
Right, definitely. The initial intended experience, right? Like you have a feel for which tier should be in it, which eras, whatnot, and then, looking at data and our player sentiment, depending on what we feel, we could always make adjustments.
Right.
I see a mention here from one of our CCs here. He says that I lost the comment. Oh, it says Mr. Sinister One says, "Wow, thanks to the winners. They said that they could have Sinister could have the prize instead. I'm on to you, Mr. Sinister. Not this time."
Well, question for Sinister, because I know we always start our streams per your permission. Like we are not allowed to actually start this until you arrive, right?
Mm-hmm.
We are at a wrap here for our content updates and Q&As. Sinister, are we good to kind of close our stream for today?
Oh, he just sent me a message on the side. He said, I think we could wrap up early, he said. Whoa.
Yeah, and Gita, what if he says no? That does put me in a very compromised situation here.
So we'll just stare at ourselves awkwardly here.
Thank you, Sinister.
Alrighty, everyone. Thank you very much for hanging out with us today, and we'll be here again on Tuesday, streaming for our community stream, where we like to play games with the community. So if you have some time in your day to play with us, feel free to join us at, when do we start? 11 Central, and we usually end around 1. So we'll see you then. And if you're watching on Twitch, stick around. We're going to raid one of our community contributors. If you're not, well, I bid you a happy weekend and happy Father's Day to everyone out there. So I'll see you all on the battlefield. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Have a great weekend.